Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Hwanseung News for the 8th of August. Lucky double eights. I hope that brings some good luck to you for there. This is my second recording of the day. As I mentioned on the 7th, which I recorded earlier in the afternoon, I had some problem with Zoom, with the new registration there, and I've managed to fix it, but I didn't get that done till 2 a.m., so it's been a very long day. I've had a full day of class with the corporate executives, as I usually do. 6 a.m. to 12 a.m., Monday to Friday, hardcore. That's how we do it here at Hwanseung. And may I just remind you, if you're new to the channel, the reason why we call it Hwanseung, or the Hwanseung Group, is that we are always involved in transferring transport. We are transferring companies, countries, we're transferring knowledge, assets, information, and insight. Okay, welcome to the Hwanseung Group. Eventually we plan to get involved in recruitment, okay, headhunting there, also finance and also real estate. Okay, so I'm glad to have you here along the journey. Let's get started here. The first one here, online stabbing threat map notification service surfaces. Okay, so you can see here, this is quite related to this headline here. Attacks may be the tip of the iceberg amid growing social isolation. So this is a problem that is becoming very, very apparent. It's rearing its ugly head in society these days, where young people, some young, especially males, are having a very difficult time coming to terms with their circumstances, their living circumstances there. They might deem themselves as a failure. They may be dealing with mental illness. They may be dealing with substance abuse, such as alcohol, perhaps even drugs. Okay, we know that drugs has become a big problem there. And, you were probably aware that there have been there's been a spate of stabbings, random stabbings going on in populated areas of Seoul. And the latest one was last week in Bundang. And as a result of that, some developer has gone and created a live map. Okay, this is called Terrorless. Okay, Terrorless.01ab.net, and it's giving you an idea of where there have been threats, online threats, or physical threats there in Korea. Okay, look, there's no threats from North Korea except Mr. Kim Jong-un. He's got nuclear weapons, right? So just be careful of him. But yeah, if we go ahead and we zoom in on the map, let's see what's happening in perhaps let's have a look at Gangnam. Okay, we can see here with Gangnam there, 자세히 보기, have a look at the details, and we've got an alert on the 4th of August. Let's have a look at the article there. There's some kind of a alert there as mentioning about it. Okay, let's have a look at another one. Okay, perhaps this one in Bundang. Okay, it's Hwanseung. Okay, and we got this one here. The update was on the 3rd. Okay, Paiseng. Okay, let's go for look for this alert here, and they're saying how there was random stabbings going on at Hwanseung Station last week. You can see the video of the guy walking around, got a very heavy step, okay, and then casually going around and stalking his victims. Over there, and you can see there one lying on the ground, another one there. Just a state of carnage. Okay, we reported on this last week, but I really hope this does help you keep in the loop of the terror alerts that are going on. This is Terrorless.01ab.net. Okay, I'll put a link in the description for you. Okay, well, let's go move on to the next one here. And we can see that Japan is to start the Fukushima water release. Okay, we can see here. And this has been going on for, they have been debating about this for a long time. And it's looking like it's going to go ahead after the IAEA, the International Atomic Energy Agency, gave its approval. And it's looking to be discharged at the end of August there. Already I'm seeing some raw fish and sushi places in Korea are having a decrease in customers. The general public is quite apprehensive about consuming seafood after this date for some time. Although I do have maybe about 20% of the people I met say they don't worry about it. I mean, they feel that if it was such a problem, if this contamination was such a problem, why isn't the US, why isn't Australia, why aren't the Pacific nations, why isn't New Zealand or even Greenpeace, why aren't they saying anything about it there? So, if we look at the ocean currents, okay, we can see here that it'll take about 2 years. It'll take about 2 years for this current to go to the west coast of the States and then come back okay, for another year. And then even when it gets to the bottom of Japan, it will split, and a little bit will go into Korea, and a little bit, the majority of it will go back to Japan. So, I mean, I want to know your views on this kind of thing there. Do you think that the radioactive liquid, there's no doubt it's radioactive. Do you think that fluid and that liquid will be hazardous to human health? Okay, I have had some people saying that they're happy to go surfing at Yangyang, but they're not going to eat hue. They're not going to eat raw fish. So I don't know what you guys feel about that, but my point of view is I think that the UV exposure from the sun when it's floating along the ocean current, and also exposure into evaporation into the atmosphere will probably balance it out. So yeah, let's just see what the regular government testing does for this Fukushima contaminated radioactive water release. Okay, I guess we'll see the results from early September. Okay, all right, now going on to the next one here, we've got here Gangwon-land. Okay, we can see here. Gangwon-land, if you're not sure about, is a place for Koreans to gamble, legally gamble at a casino. Okay, so it's a hotel and a kind of resort here, Gangwon-land. You can see the net profit is up 138.3% to $68.5 million US. Now, what does that tell you about the economy? People have a bit more disposable money, or they're willing to take a risk with their money and go gambling. Okay, so if they perhaps were staying on domestically and traveling, they were stopping by Gangwon-land and having a bit of a dab, having a dibble on the slots and also the table games. Myself, I have been to the casinos in Seoul in the past. All three of the casinos there, they are legal for foreigners to go. And as you know, I'm on a New Zealand passport. I also have a British passport and permanent residence in Korea. But I can tell you this from my personal experience. Japanese gamblers were the most fun to play with. They're very happy-go-lucky. They're not afraid to lose. Whereas Chinese gamblers and Vietnamese gamblers, they were very serious and very feisty, very aggressive about you joining halfway through the shoe of a blackjack box. You know, they would actually ask you to hold off for the next fresh box because they believed it altered the luck, the stream of luck of the cards. Maybe it's got to do with feng shui, maybe it's got to, do with card counting, I'm not sure. But, that's something I stopped doing a long time ago. There's more than 10, 11 years ago there. So yeah, the only good thing at the time was the free samgyetang. Samgyetang used to be free, 24 hours a day at 7 Luck, okay, in Samsung-dong. So that was a very probably the most expensive samgyetang I've had in my life. All right. Anyway, let's go on. So we can see the next headline, guys. There, housing loan defaults skyrocket among young borrowers. All right. So this is not surprising here. 2021 was a market where it was a FOMO market, fear of missing out. That's fear of missing out, FOMO. Young borrowers were saying to themselves that if I don't buy an apartment now, or I don't get a Jeonse now, I'm never going to be able to get one. That was when the stock market was bubbling. People were also borrowing money to get into the stocks, betting on the coins. And what happened? The economy tanked. Okay, the interest rates are at the highest they have ever been, in the economy there, and people have just been caught out. They borrowed money against an asset that's depreciating, and they have no choice but to default or go bankrupt, legally bankrupt there, or just sell and make a loss to recoup the money that they've borrowed. Because essentially it's not their home. You know, until that mortgage is paid off, that's the bank's home, as far as I'm concerned. And you're paying the interest on there. So I'm not saying it was a bad financial decision to get into the market. No one knew that was going to happen there, but you live with your financial decisions. You have to do you should have done the research and be prepared to house that extra expense of debt burden, whatever it took, kind of thing there. So even for me, when I borrowed money for our honeymoon house, our first house after marriage, even a slight increase of like 30,000 won was painful. Okay, to me personally, it was painful because that's money going nowhere. Okay, it was just covering interest there. So yes, I really hope that there is some glimmer of hope in the market, but I don't think until next year. Early next year is when I see a general increase in prices. We do have some increase in the main hubs, Gangnam and Socho and Daechidong. Okay, again, education-centric centers. But I don't see a pickup in the market until early next year. Okay, until the Bank of Korea cuts the interest rates. Okay, and the money printers come back on. Stock market should also increase as well. The more liquid the asset, just in general, the more liquid the asset, the faster it is responding to changes in the interest rate. Okay, now this last one, guys, here, we had screams by BTS fans throw subway passengers into panic. This actually happened in Gangnam, Shinyeonyeon Station. You can see the police there armed with M16s and a Heckler & Koch MP15, MP5. And what actually happened here, guys, is there was a foreign girl or two of them there, and they were looking at a picture of BTS Sugar's new tattoo, and they started screaming, probably like, "Oppa! Kiawa!" They went there, "Namo 멋있어!" And the other passengers took note of it and thought there was some terror going on. So I just want to share with you what actually happened via a Korean news report. And so have a look at this video and tell me what you think.
잇따른 흉기 난동 사건으로 시민 불안감이 커진 가운데 어제 저녁 서울 지하철 9호선에선 5인 신고에 놀란 승객들이 대피하다 넘어져 일부 다치는 일이 벌어졌습니다. 인천 부평구에선 아파트 단지 3곳에서 잇따라 정전이 발생해 주민들이 불편을 겪었습니다. 사건 사고 소식 배지현 기자가 전해드립니다. 소방대원들이 한 여성을 들것에 싣고
So you can see they're escorting one of the girls out.
김포공항 방면으로 향하던 9호선 급행열차에서 승객 신고가 잇따라 접수된 건 어제 저녁 8시.
And there was a report of a terror threat. Someone said there was gas or in a weapon.
열차는 신논현역에 정차했고 급하게
It stopped at Shinyeonyeon Station.
경상을 입어 병원으로 옮겨졌습니다.
7 people were evacuated here, and later it was found there was no gas, there was no weapon.
흉기 난동 등 특이 사항은 없었다고 밝혔습니다. 경찰 관계자는 BTS 영상을 보던 외국인 여성들이
So these foreign girls are looking at the BTS video and they started screaming, caused panic, and all chaos ensued. Okay, so please, you know, people are very, very sensitive in Korea right now. That goes for citizens and also tourists and that kind of thing right now. With the way things are going in Korea, even a small thing has a butterfly effect and can result in a lot of panic and a lot of turmoil going on there. So, as I said on the earlier podcast today, it's all about being alert. You shouldn't be walking around with your earphones on, just glued to your phone, okay, walking around there. Keep vigilant. Travel in pairs if you can, okay. Make regular contact with your friends and family. And, yeah, of course, it's very, very, very difficult to avoid these kind of, perhaps, these murderers that are going on these random stabbings, but unfortunately, it seems to be the tip of the iceberg. So I urge caution for you, the audience out there. Please be careful wherever you're there. And remember, we've got Terrorless, the alert map. Okay, Terrorless.01ab.net. I'll put the link in the description below. Be sure to check that out and stay tuned for alerts about what's going on with regards to this high-level, tense situation in Korea. Thank you for joining Hwanseung. Okay, as I mentioned before, okay, we're always transferring in our lives. We're transferring transport, we're transferring companies, we're transferring countries, we're transferring wealth, knowledge, insight, assets. That's the Hwanseung group, okay, the transfer group. And I really, really am happy to have your company on this channel, okay, on my journey to be the best I can, okay, and be the challenger. Those were our people today. That's Hwanseung tonight.